Good morning, class. You're welcome to qualitative research design qualitative techniques. My name is Professor White, and I'm taking you through this particular course. Last week we looked at what's defining research and then finding a research topic. But we also pointed out that before you can find a research topic, you should know the literature that exists. So today I'll teach you how to find the literature that exists and how to conduct a literature review. I'm being joined by Dr. Jonathan Mano, who will be assisting me in delivering this particular course to you. Thank you very much. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Thank you.
Yes, folks. We can hear you.
Okay, so let's go straight. We are looking at chapter 2 and 3 of the Research Made Easy book. You can pick one from the bookshop. I think they have been doing some sales on the book for about 10%, so you can quickly pick one before it runs out. Okay, topic 1. What is literature review? Literature review is the act of doing a synthesis of available resources and materials which have a strong relation with the topic in question that you want to do your research on. And after finding the literature, you have to then describe what is in the literature and critically evaluate them and compare each of them together with another one. So it's like a critical evaluation and a comparative analysis of each of the studies or resources that you find. Every literature review is focused on a particular research topic. So if I'm doing a research on what's the name? Let's say entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship and financing. I have to do my reading on entrepreneurship and financing. Sorry about that. I think the thing moved. I will correct it later. So what happens is that your research will focus much more on the fact that that literature review you are getting is going to review the past, what has been done in that area, who are the authors in that area, what have they said, so that you can be able to point out the gaps that are in that particular area. Let me just do this quickly. Forgive me. Because of the what's happening, I will just go this way so that I can quickly remove the. Uh, okay, don't worry. I'll just do this. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Change the slide design and it's actually affected the position of items. So don't worry. Let's continue. Okay. Good. So what happens in the research we do is that we use the literature review to find what has been said in the past so that we can position our arguments and our work. So it forms the very basis of our argument and it places your research in context with the discipline. You get to know who and who in the area of study marketing, in the area of study accounting, the area of study finance that have done research in that area so that you can also learn from their work. Usually when you see people doing their write-up is full of a review. If you didn't read somebody's work, you cannot actually be able to review and point out what has been done. So that's what you are trying to do in a literature review. It will also help you to identify what you can do to improve the current field, what has been done previously and what is being left so that you can establish your originality. So for example, if I get to know that a lot of people have already done research on SME financing, entrepreneurship financing already, but maybe they have not looked at it for entrepreneurship financing for online entrepreneurs, like the content entrepreneurs, those who spend their time creating content online. How do they get financing to start their process? So I can actually not study what they do on the internet. I want to study how they get money to be able to run their activity, buy the equipment, buy the cameras. How do they even get their resources? So my whole MPhil can be on financing of online entrepreneurs, a case study of Ghana. What am I trying to do? Financing of other entrepreneurs have been done, but the online era is a new era, especially in Ghana and Africa. And that part, we don't know much about how the behaviors and the strategic thinking patterns of people who work online or primarily spend their time creating online content as their business. So how do they survive financially? How do they find money? What kind of collaborations and contacts and network do they use to get access? Are they banks? Are they use the formal banking support access that maybe an SME may get? And if not, why are the banks not even helping them? I remember some time ago, I wrote a paper on e-business financing. Well, look at how e-businesses get their financing to start their e-business. So, but this one can be about content entrepreneurs because the current studies is on other entrepreneurs, but you have not looked at content entrepreneurs. So please, I want to encourage you that read the literature that is in the topic area and start narrowing down to find out the gaps in that area. Okay. Now it helps you to narrow the research focus so that you can be able to make a choice of what has not previously occurred to you, and then build a knowledge base for the future. So let's take an example. I want to open a paper that I usually use to teach students. It's an accounting paper, very, very good paper. I usually use it to show an example. Okay, so let me just open it. The title of the paper is Introduction of Small Accounting Practices in Small Business, Small Family Business. Okay, now if you look at it, this is the introduction. Now, the first paragraph tells you what the study is going to do. So let's start from here, the next paragraph. The success of small business is relevant to any country, given their impact on the economy. Now, this is an argument he has put here, but who is saying it and where is your support for the argument? In USA, so that's the support that's coming. He's taking a support from a developed country. In USA, let me zoom in a little bit. I want you guys to see what I'm doing. In USA, businesses employing fewer than 500 employees account for half of the country's economy and the half of its private sector. He's making a case for what? He's making a case for small businesses. So with that statement, then it gives a reference. So we say the argument has been supported by what? A reference. And then this is an illustration, a summary of what is in the reference. In US, it's an example. So he has argument, then the reference is the evidence, and then the evidence is also being illustrated here so that we can enhance understanding. And this evidence is coming from a developed country. But the gentleman knows that this thing also happens in other countries. So he says that what similar patterns can be observed from around the world. And that is another citation. So he's showing more evidence, but comparing the developed against the developing world. Now, what has he done here? He has done a review of literature into a paragraph. The theme here is about what? Small businesses. And he's trying to make a justification for small business and their relevance. To make the justification, he picks one argument from a developed country and one from other countries. And he puts the references there. So literature review is a synthesis of available research. Where is available research? Small business, and then what? Aldrich, IFC 2007, and then OECD 1997. When you put these things together, then you end up realizing that he has done a synthesis of literature in order to contribute an argument in this particular paragraph. So you say it's a synthesis of available resources and material with a strong relation with the topic. The topic here is what? The topic here is about SMM, small businesses. He has done that. Then he goes on to say that although the success of small firms depends on many factors, both external and internal, the implementation of sound accounting practices. This paragraph was about small business. This other paragraph is introducing another one, another argument. And because of that, he starts although shows that he's breaking away from the previous argument to another one. He says that the implementation of sound accounting practices, that's a new theme he's introducing in this paragraph, is critical to any firm's survival and growth. And then he brings the evidences. Now, about 4 papers here. Macron and Holmes, Mahon 2001, Lichy 2081, and then Collins and Jarvis 2002. Now, he says that despite this, the process of introducing accounting practice to small business remains poorly understood. When something is poorly understood, what does it mean? It means that there is a gap. There's not much knowledge about it because only a small number of businesses are addressing the issue. It brings the reference to it. Now, what he's trying to point out here is that small businesses matter. And accounting practices in small business also matter more, but we don't know much about that. So he's pointing out what we call a gap. And I say we do literature review to find out gaps in the literature. But how did he write this one? He also did the reading. He read this one, he read Lichy, he read Mahon, and read Mahon and Holmes, and was able to do a synthesis of all of the four. That these four tend to agree that so the survival of small businesses tend to matter. But the literature that we find on small business accounting practice is very few. So we need to find something else. Then remember, so first paragraph, small business, second paragraph, accounting practice. So every paragraph has a theme. Every paragraph has a theme. The next one is small family businesses of any size involve people linked with the family ties. He's explaining it in different aspects of their business, employees, shareholders, advisors. Small family businesses are the intersection of the sit between small businesses and then family businesses. Because of the small family businesses, business owners face challenges common to all business ventures. That's unique, but that's those who are unique to family firms and those that are distinct to small businesses. So that means that they will face small business challenges and family business challenges. Family business is not necessarily a small business. It's a business that is run by family members. Okay. Like or largely the decisions are taken by family members. Like all firms, small family businesses must appoint trustworthy managers to define leadership succession. In addition, small family businesses face unique challenges because of the complex environment created by the intermingling of family members, and then they need to separate the personal and then the business finances. So you bring the reference there. But then, so all this paragraph is just about small family business. One reference is here. You could have done more. Because I argue that every 20 words should have one unique reference. You could have done more. Okay. And then the accounting discipline. Now he's coming back to accounting discipline. but he's now going to link it to small family businesses. Accounting discipline has only limited understanding of accounting practices. How accounting are introduced in small businesses. So when we talk accounting discipline and accounting practices in small business, we don't know much there. And then in family businesses, to only a few studies. So it goes on to say that it is known that accounting practices in small family businesses are different from those in which family members are not involved. If we aim to help the knowledge area of small family firms by introduce some accounting practices, we should have a clear understanding of the dynamics of that type of organization. Such an understanding will help us develop the right policies to help them. Our investigation at this research extends previous research. So I mentioned that literature review helps you to know what you are extending. Maybe somebody did a study up to here, you are now adding more to it. So it extends previous research on accounting practices in small businesses by adding the complexity of family involvement. We have established in the previous paragraphs that accounting practices in family business, we don't know much about it. Small business, we don't know much about it. Okay, let's continue. And he said that one way in which family firms differ from other firms is the degree to which non-economic factors affect the basic decision of the owners of the firms, by the owners of the firms. Such non-economic factors include emotions, values, and altruism. The combined effect of such factors is called socio-emotional wealth. So we use the socio-emotional wealth theory to understand how accounting practices are introduced. Okay. So you see the statement here. We use a socio-emotional wealth theory to understand how accounting practices are introduced in small businesses. Now, what are we seeing here? We have seen a person who has done a review. He began by introducing small businesses, then went on to talk about their value, and then went on to talk about accounting practices being important, then went to talk about family businesses, then linking family businesses and small businesses and accounting practices to make a choice. So when you are doing a literature review, you are doing the review to be able to understand a number of things. For example, if I'm starting my long essay, or as an MPhil student, I am doing the literature review to be able to know what literature is there, so that I can be able to get the key arguments that can support my research problem. I can also find the gaps in the research that can justify the problem that I want to do my research in. Okay. So the last part then says that, okay, linking the accounting practice in small businesses will matter. And what can we study? We can study what the non-economic factors that affect the decisions of owners of firms in small businesses. So I'm showing you why we do literature review and how we arrive there. Do you realize that there are for that section, content about almost 8 different literature? Do you realize it? Class, do you realize it? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, please.
But
Yes, Paul.
how do you think the person did it? He did it by finding the literature. So if you don't find literature which are relevant to your area and you don't read them, you cannot be able to do a good review. And if you don't do a good review, you cannot be able to write your long essay. Okay, so let's continue. So to start off, I'm coming, Louis. We started a topic, and then sometimes when you select a topic, it's very broad, so you have to refine it. As you search, you may have to change a little bit so that it makes it much more relevant to area. If I go and say a topic like Galamsey, it's too broad. It's too broad. I may get too much literature, it may not help me. But if I look at Galamsey and climate change, that's better. Or Galamsey and policy development, that's better. Galamsey and monitoring, police monitoring, that may be better. Okay. Then you make sure that the papers they have found, they are relevant to the area of research you're going to do your work. You download them, you start looking at the details about the papers and summarize them. And then you put them together, summaries together, and start writing. That is what we usually do in writing. Okay. Your question, sir.
Sorry, please. Good morning.
Good morning,
Please, my name is Lois Esidu. I'm
Lois.
taking
Okay.
risk and insurance as a
Okay.
course. My question is one, that do we have a year gap for research currently in our department, or I can pick papers from any year of my choice? And secondly, looking at how difficult it is to refine topics, how do we then, what comes first? Is it picking the topic before the literature review, or we can think of maybe the area we want to do the research, look for papers around it. Then as we read the papers, we can refine our research topic, which will come first and which is best. Thank you.
Okay, so let's look at it carefully. First of all, if I'm doing research and I want to make my research relevant, let's say you are in 2025, it's likely you finish your work in when? 2027. In 2017, when you're submitting your work, and all the literature you read was in 2022, 2019, 2018, 2017. It means that your work, the work that you have used to support your arguments will be over 10 years old. And it's likely that somebody may have addressed the problem without even you knowing. So when you are finding the literature to read, we usually say that if it is about establishing what you want to do, try to stay within the last 5 years. So for example, I'm in 2025. I would like to look at it up to 2020, and that will be a good year for me. But sometimes the same papers I'm reading on 2020, 2022 may cite papers which are from the previous years. So that's not wrong. I hope you understand me. So it's always good to use a more contemporary literature when you are doing your work. Does this solve the first question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Then the second question is that which one do you start first? It's like a chicken and egg issue. The egg and the chicken, which one came first? Sometimes some students have got an idea in their mind, and then they go and search. And as they are seeing the search, they read about it, they are excited. Then they say, I'm going to do this topic. Then they go and, as they are doing the next, they come back again and they chance on a different paper. And that then tells them they should go and change the previous one. So I always tell students that you are in a creative stage in the first phase. Allow the literature to speak to you. So go and look for the literature and start looking at the topic area you want to do a research on. And what is it telling you?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Good. And lastly, I also want to point out that it is not wrong to also begin with an area in your mind, because if you are searching, where do you even start searching for? A topic should be in your mind, whether it is broad or narrow, a topic. But when you start searching, then you start asking yourself questions of this one, it will trigger your interest into different areas, especially if you start reading the abstracts of those papers, or even the title of those papers will trigger an interest. Now we find literature in periodicals, scholarly journals, books, dissertation, government documents, policy reports, presented papers like conference papers, and statistics like from World Bank and Ghana Statistical Service. But all of them play a key role. If I'm arguing on my work, to make arguments in my work, I will take it from scholarly journals. And then if I want to make explanations of concept, I'll take it from scholarly journals and books. If I want to know the style of writing my long essay, I'll go and look at previous long essays supervised by my supervisor so that I can know the style he likes. Some supervisors are very keen on the way you structure your work, what you can put here, what you cannot put here. So I'll rather check previous work and get ideas from there. If I want to be able to look for supporting arguments to justify certain key statements I've put in my work, for example, I want to argue that if I want to be able to get statistics supporting policies of my work, I'll take government documents, policy reports, and then existing statistics from Ghana Statistical Service and other WHO, World Bank to support my work. Sometimes periodicals too, like The Economist, Harvard Business Review, they may do some features which will be relevant to my work. But every student usually starts from the scholarly journals, because those ones are very easy to come back with. Then maybe they move on to the books. They will only look at the previous dissertations or long essays to be able to get ideas on how to structure their work. So University of Ghana, you go to bamlibrary.ug.edu.gh. This is an old address, but I think right now you use bamlibrary.ug.edu.gh, and then you find the e-resources. I've seen your hand, Enoch, I'm coming. So Dr. Bana and I, we tried this one before we came. We went to University of Ghana. So let me just go to University of Ghana. Okay. Then I went to this library under research. Oh, sorry, I told library it's under academics library to bring me to BAM library website. And the BAM library website, there's so much information. This is searching articles and book and journals, the ones you want to borrow, the ones you want to read. But we need to go to academic databases. And most of the academic databases are very good for us to use for our work. There are quite a lot of them. But if you go to their website right now, like you go to emeraldinsight.com. Emerald Insight is a proprietary database that has a lot of information on management issues from Africa, from the EU, across the world. So it's a very good document for management issues. You can also go to other places for healthcare. There are different databases for different reasons. Yes. Okay, so this is Emerald. So they have got their journals and you can search within it. So supposing somebody is interested in, and let's say, let me use tourism financing. So it is going to search, it is giving you all these things. Now you realize that I've opened it. Please, can you see it? I've opened it. I hope you're using a laptop that can see well. I can look at different types. So this is structural power in local tourism financing. So these topics are important to me. Then it tells you the journals. On here, you can see the name of the journals and then the type of articles that are coming. There's a review article, there's a research article, and there's literature review, what others have reviewed in the past and published as a literature review. And there's a viewpoint technical paper. So quite much, a lot of them. I can add another term, say, developing countries or Ghana, then to narrow down to what I want. Okay, so if I do this, I will end up getting this. Developing countries, see it has now narrowed down. Okay, so look at this paper. I can read the abstract. This is what we call a structured abstract. They are breaking it into pieces together for you, so you can read the abstract. And you can also, if you have created an account, you can add your citation manager, so you can always retrieve it. Then you can download the PDF. If the journal article is available for free, it will download. If it's not available for free, then you need to be able to get permission. So it looks like this one, it's not available for free. Oh, okay. So I can read the abstract, but I cannot download it because I've not got the institutional access. So most of it, we tell students that go to BAM library and about research tools, you see off-campus access. So that if you are off campus, you're not using or you're on campus, you're not using the university network, you can still download and get. Then you register here. When you register, to ask for certain information about you, then you fill it in. Usually after 48 hours, it becomes available for you to use. Then you log in. You log in and put in your details. Then you can make it. So now it has given me a whole list through a proxy so that I can be able to search. There are a lot of databases, but sometimes you don't know which of them to use. So if possible, if you were going to BAM Library website, you could have actually looked at let me see, collections or so databases by subject area. So let's say you are an accounting student or a business school student, so accounting, so you click on it, and to tell you the database that tend to be important for accounting students. There are quite a lot of them. Sage, original. Look at Emerald is also here already, so Emerald is good. Then there are 3 ones to academic journal, directory open access journal. Okay. So now that I've seen it, I can be able to know which of them I want to choose. I see Emerald is here. So it has opened it for me. But if I start searching, to give me the same problem because I can't download them. Because this is a very good paper on artificial intelligence. If it's, I have to get permission because I don't have access to it. So sometimes the university has signed access for you. And it means that if you go to off-campus access, now you are here, you can click on Emerald here. So you can, please, I hope you can see. I'll make the video available after the class. You can take your time and watch it. Emerald. I click on Emerald. Now I am using the university access to enter Emerald so that I can be able to have direct access to Emerald. So you see that the URL at the top there has changed. Oh, the website is not accessible via this address. I thought UG had has unfortunately. So let's try another one. This one I don't know why it's not working. So let's try another good one is Science Direct. And for Science Direct, the university has a relationship with them. So sometimes you can even go there straight and register and use and log in with your UG address to work. You don't even need to go through this place. If you log in, if you go to our website and create an account and choose your institution, UG, it will directly work. Also, the relationship we have with them. And someone said, Prof, are you sure? Yes, when you go to UG, the UG website, you will see that they look at Sign Direct Impact Journals. They even have a advertising them on the page. So they even focus on some of the impact journals on Sign Direct. They have very good potential in them. Okay, so let's go continue. So I use to enter Science Direct. Now Science Direct has opened. I was asking for a topic called financing of tourism financing. Some of the places are not the perfect for the topic that you will be looking for. So you come to learn. Some of them are better for science-based topics or engineering-based topics or technology-based topic than the other. Tourism financing. Look at what I'll get here. Okay, there's something here. Digital finance, green development, and high-quality development. Okay. But it's published in finance research letters. So it's a finance paper rather. There are quite a number of them. Then the review of financial analysis. So the topic is good, but it's drawing me more to finance papers than rather, maybe I'm interested in tourism papers. So I would have marketing related papers. I would have loved it to give me non-finance based journals, but that's the dominant one here. And because I went through the system, I can download the, for example, relationship among regulatory environment, financial constraint, and corporate risk taking in this one. So view PDF. The PDF is available. Good. And the PDF I can download it because I'm a member. I went to the UG platform and I have the paper here. Very simple. But there are some papers that are already open access. That means that the journal, without whether you are UG or not UG, somebody has paid for the paper to be fully open to everybody. So this one like this is fully open to everybody. Okay, so that is what you do. Now, do you realize that if you're doing a study on financing of tourism, even just here will give you ideas without even reading the abstract? Look at some people's own. Look at a paper like this. Does tourism become an accelerator for low carbon transition? The moderating role of digital economy and green finance. The relationship between, okay, this one, look at it. Towards sustainable tourism, insights from green financing and renewable knowledge. So you're realizing that there's some discussions on green financing a lot. So what can you do something out? What can you start to do a research on it? Then there's research on COVID financing and tourism. Because COVID, most of the tourism firms were strike financially. Because people were not able to visit them. So how did they survive? It will be a good lesson for us to learn from there. So quite a lot of them are, and you see a lot of renewable energy because this is a science platform. Okay, now, what if you are into healthcare, you would have also used Science Direct to help you, but there are quite other ones too. There is this other one, Scopus. Scopus is also good for searching, but Scopus doesn't host the papers. The papers are on the other platforms like Taylor and Francis, Science Direct, Emerald and stuff. They are not on Scopus and EBSCO. But it's it's an academic search engine too, and can point you to the right place to look at it. And it can give you statistics and other papers related to the area. Later, I'll show you how to use AI tools to be able to find papers too, which are very, very good. But for now, let us learn this one without AI. Okay. So let me see if I can find something, one of the ones I use for healthcare. Okay. Sage is also good for our area of study. Then JSTOR. I didn't know that we even have this one. This is also good. Integral Connect. Okay, quite a lot of them. Then another one for business. This is where you find Harvard's Business Review, EBSCO, largely from North American papers and journals. Okay. Okay. Good. Scopus has opened now. So let's say tourism financing again. Let's see what to open. I'm searching the article title, the keywords in the article, and the article abstract. So when you are searching you can choose where you want to search. This is EBSCO. So I also want to go to EBSCO's web. So it will give me. So look at what it has given. Scopus has given 832 papers. Now, what is interesting about Scopus is that you can then check which of them are for business school, which of them are in economics. So the business school type of ones and social sciences are 279. So I want to limit to business school. I also want only journals. So I want to only journals. I don't want book chapters, conference paper, book. Okay, so I can narrow it down. So you can do conference paper, book chapter, and all those other ones here. Now look at it. So I start looking at what I have here. Some of the topics are not relevant to my area because it looks like it just mentions it. It's checking the article title, the abstract and keywords, tourism financing. Okay. So let's see. The impact of management indicators on the business performance of hotels. Okay, something like that. Impact of sports sponsorship models on sports industry, not really. Determinants of the operation of Polish spa enterprise during and after pandemic. Okay, that's good. Tourism and economic development, an empirical. Okay. So let me see if I can find one that will be very easy for us to. Good. Participants and challenge of cultural producers in sellers in tourism in Africa. That's good. So I'll click on this one. But you can even select and then be able to understand what is happening in that area. So you can view the PDF. Because I've done Science Direct, Scopus is owned by Science Direct and Elsevier, which also owns Science Direct. So if I click on it, to open directly because I've already logged into my Science Direct. Oh, this one probably I thought it was okay. It didn't open. It took me to Sage because the journal runner belongs to Sage. The article belongs to Sage. Okay. So it's also asking me to sign up. So that's the challenge you have if you don't do this search very well. And then because let's see there's Sage here. So I'm going to check whether Sage will open. Sage. Okay, so let's see this here. I'll click on it. It will open it for me. Now, the fact that UG has given you a link does not mean that UG has paid for every journal there. So that's what makes it a little bit different. Okay, good. Now it has opened it for me. So I remember the paper I was looking for was some tourism in Africa. So let me search for it inside. Good, it has opened it for me here. That is it. So I can download the PDF. Good. Then to open the paper for me. So now I'm beginning to see that there are quite a number of different papers in this area. There's a tourism paper here. So this is the one I saw. Yeah. And the paper has been cited 4 times. And it has it's kind of very popular too for others for them to look into. So let's see. Okay. Sorry, I went somewhere else. I was looking for. Oh, it's still opening. That's something about it. It can take time to open. So let's go back to this particular one that we have here. And then we have seen, okay, a different. So we are, at least we saw one paper here, which was tourism relationship on regulatory environment. But this is a quantitative paper. So you have got some regression or calculations down there. Okay. Then the earnings from finance. Then we also saw this one. Environment, good. Which I opened. This was also open access for the environment to finance. The synergy analysis to unlock the code of tourism revenue. Okay. Emerald said you open. I don't know whether the link that UG has been expired or something like that. Okay. Oh, still not downloaded. That document. Anyway, it has still not done it. So let's don't worry about it. But at least we know how to get the paper. Which other one? Till and Francis. Okay, let me check. Till and Francis is another good platform to check. I'll give you a list of these firms, these companies. I'll post it because it's taking too much time. Till and Francis too has come here. Tourism. Now you see that some of financing, tourism, financing. Okay, so even this one has a lot of things on tourism already. So it's a social science platform, so you can see that they are good. So it has quite a number of general sustainable tourism even there. So this is a very good if you are doing something like general hospitality and financial management. So you see that there are really current issues in tourism. So almost the big guys, General of China Tourism Research, General Policy Research in Tourism. So if you are doing tourism study and you spend too much time on Emerald and things, you're not going to get much. It may be good papers there, but there's one thing is that the tourism journals are rather in Taylor and Francis. So that's why you see me doing multiple search until I'm sure that I've been able to get someone. And you can download there are 12 journals that are pointed here. Let me just add Ghana. Maybe I'll add Ghana. Maybe let's say Ghana, it will bring me something. Because there's quite a lot of them. Reflections on policies on tourism policies in Ghana. Poor tourism. Okay, Kakun Park. So now online tourism destination market in Kumasi. So investigation of experience of volunteer tourists in Ghana. Okay, let's look at this one. So we click on that one. This one of the reasons why I always tell students that be on campus. So when you're on campus, you don't go through too much searching issues. You can come to campus and download all the papers you want and go and read them. The problem about this one is that the International Journal of Tourism and Hospitality Research, CUG has not paid for it. Well, the full article is not accessible. You have to pay. That's an idea. So sometimes UG has paid for a limited bundle. Yeah. UG has paid for a limited bundle. So you have to consider what UG has paid for, what you are paid for, and then what you can have. Okay, please just give me a second. Let me see if I can download. Those of you you can try searching some of the databases yourself directly. Okay. So I'm going to try another one and see whether we can get it. Almina tourism planner. See, this one is available. Good. Oh, this one is not available. Hey. Hmm. Okay. So let me see another one. Hey, this is interesting for me. Tell sustainable. So let's this one full text online. I'm hoping this one will be available. Okay. Unless this is not working. That's okay. Let me see. Read this article. Access to your institution. Okay, I click on that one. Anyway, let me see this one to Cogent. No, this one is open access, so it will be available. Okay. Yes, I'm coming. Good. This one is available. So this at least we go one which is available. And it will open. When it opens, sometimes the internet speed will also be part of it. This is a smaller file, so I'm hoping that it will open easily. Let me see the EPUB version will open faster. Okay. Good. Louis, your hand is up.
Please, I wanted to ask, does the means of finding the paper matter, or is the paper that we need that matters?
Okay, you want to have access to the paper, so that's what matters. That's all I'll say.
Because maybe you might know another place of
That's what I'm saying. The
finding
paper is what matters. So
okay.
getting the paper is
Thanks.
that matters. I
Yes,
know some
please.
of you may have friends abroad who can get the access to it. They can download them for you or something like that. Okay. So where is this one? Okay, this is EBSCO host. This is the one from Harvard Business Review. So I can search that. This one has, you see, I say Harvard Business Review. This one has got very good, it's an American-based stuff. So if you look at it, you still get Ghana papers there and African papers, but I'm just saying that they have a lot of North American-based journals here. You can have access to them. So let's do the tourism financing too. Well, I'll show you tourism financing. Let's say add Ghana too. Let's see whether we'll find something. Okay, the impact of finance on SME growth. No, that one. Tourism. This one is interesting. Tourism and planning and da. Access now, PDF. So let's see. Check. Okay. This has come. This was the one we wanted to download earlier. So I want to save it. So you say retrieve. So you save the paper and save it onto your computer, but give it a proper name. So I didn't check the name of the paper. Okay, the paper is there. So let's say I have a folder for your course, UGBS 653. Let me see. I have a folder here. This is tourism financing. So I can create tourism financing on my computer. And then the folder, I can then create Ghana. Yes. So because this paper is about tourism financing in Ghana. Then I'll add the year. In case the year is 2025, I'll add 2025 to it. Or 2024.
Probably we are not seeing the screen.
No, because I can't. It has taken me to my computer. I don't know how to. Yeah, it's like saving a file on it to not show that part.
Okay.
So to not show that part unless I change and show. Let me show all screen. Okay, now to show it. It's showing it now. I hope so.
Yes, please.
So I've created tourism finance. I've got Ghana, and then I'm saving it. And I added 2024 to the titles because I think the paper was published there, so that whenever I look at it, I can look at all the 2024 papers, all the 2023 papers. If I just drop them PDF 1, PDF 2, PDF 3, I will not be able to know what the paper is about. I will not be able to know the country is about. I will not be able to know the year it was published. This is even 2021, so maybe I have to even change it instead of 2024. I'll change 2021. So I put the title there, and I put a year before the title of the paper. So those of you who are looking at it on my computer, this is it. You can see it here. Good. So that is one. Then I go on to the next one I opened. Okay, now I came to Sage. Sage 2 didn't allow me to get a paper. Then some of I can't. Okay, this one has come. Oh, this is good. Tourism and National Economic Planning in Ghana. This is a very good look at the past. Published in 2018. Sometimes the paper is good, but it's an old paper. So don't be surprised that you may see a paper which is good. But if I was looking for my research problem, I only have to use this one. Now you see the titles give me EBSCO. I don't want that one. It's about tourism planning. Don't only go and search for Ghana papers. So it is important that you open it up and look at the issue first before you start narrowing down to the country. Okay, so this is 2018. So I'll put 2018 here. Okay, good. Now I think we are good. I've got 2 papers now. Then this one was on. This one, the country is not specified, but Chinese, okay, China. And it's published in 2025. And it's about regulatory environment and financing and corporate tourism industry. So I rather write China. Tourism, change the thing to 2025. Tourism industry and regulations, something like that. And I save it there. So that I've done 3. So by the time I finish, I've categorized my papers very, very well. I can do this one too again. I wanted to see whether there was another one. Good. This one I've done it already. So okay. Yes. So another platform is Springer. Springer is also very good. Springer is also very good. But it's not all of them that we have access to again. Okay, but the easiest way we could have done it is go to scholar.google.com. So that would have been also good. So I go to Scholar, tourism, financing. Good. So a lot of them. Then to tell you, sometimes to lead you to opportunity and challenge of tourism, I want from 2021. So it's around sorted out. This is green. That means that the latest issues in tourism is about green. Digital finance and tourism again. Green finance and tourism. Okay. So it's about green finance now. You see, that's what is interesting. I didn't see this one in the other part, but I'm seeing it here. So I may start downloading papers. This one is going to Sign Direct. This one is going to another place. So let's see, this one take me to Sign Direct. Good. I can download the PDF because I'm a UG person. Most of the Sign Direct ones, UG has got friendship with them. So it's about tourism, green finance. That's very good. Green finance and tourism, sustainable tourism, green finance, SDGs, Bangladesh. So I will save it. I'll do Bangladesh. Oh, I'm sorry, I've left the place. Okay. Bangladesh. So Bangla. Sorry about the spelling in case I made a mistake. Bangladesh. And then I'll change the title to Green Finance. But this is 20. I didn't check the year, but let's say it's 2025. Green Finance. Okay. And then there were other variables. I should have checked it first before coming here. So sometimes some students write it down. Or it's 2024 rather. Not 2025, 2024. So I can change it to 2024. Good. What am I doing? I'm trying to understand what exists in the literature from there. This is even before I read the abstract and I read the stuff too about these papers. Okay. So now we have been able to get the idea. What if I wanted to look at people who have done research in the department, in business school, and so I go to collections. Sorry, I go to UG. I say collection. You go to UG spaces or something like that. Let me see. Good. UG space, institutional report, UG space. This one is about you putting your own work there. This one is about finding what others have put there. So UG space. UG space will tell me the different papers and stuff that have been put in the platform. But I want the thesis. So for one thesis, communities and collections. Let me see whether I thanks the one for the thesis is. Need you know the name for the one for because I'm not a student. Sometimes
Please, which one?
the one for the thesis.
UG space.
And so the same UG space. Okay.
No, just type UG space in the address bar. It will go. It will take you straight to. I think they've changed the.
Okay, the thesis is here. I've seen it is down here. So the thesis is down here. Then you click on it to open. Then you have to choose. It is the whole UG. So you have to narrow down. If you do tourism financing, you have to bring from geography and all those things. It's not wrong. But I can click on this one and to take me to this one. And then I choose masters. I'm a master's student, so I can choose masters. Then when it takes me to masters, what I'll do is that I'll do UG sub-communities again. And then I'll choose College of Humanities because I'm business school in College of Humanities. Then I'll click on sub-communities again because it's bringing me plenty. Because I want the one on business school. So I will click on this one, business school in the first. I click on business school. Then then I can narrow down to my department by clicking on this one, or I can search here. Because marketing department does the tourism, other department can do tourism too. I'm just using as an example. So marketing and consumer, the name is entrepreneurship. The name here is wrong. So I did UG space. So I said tourism. Let's find all the theses on tourism. Okay. So packaging and price sensitivity. I said for tourism, we'll check the right one. Give me 20. I'm not seeing anything of tourism. Okay, hospitality industry is here. And not necessarily tourism. But at least I can go to the department and get to know what long essay has been done and then how they structured it. So let me look at this one. Then I can download. It's accessible. This one doesn't look like it's accessible. Okay. This is an info work. Yes, okay, this is the link. Sorry, I didn't know where the links are. So now I have an info work in the Department of Marketing. Then I can go through them and see what is required. Okay. Currently, the certification and the declaration is on the same page. This is an old work, 2021, but they have changed it. Now let's look at Dr. Bano will take you through how to structure the beginning part later. So you can see the background of the study, packaging and stuff. Then it goes on to write. So you can get an idea of what is expected of you. Thank you very much. So I've downloaded this one too. I'll download this one. This one is not an academic paper, so I'll just put it as a thesis. Market. Let me just see it like that. I'll share the papers I downloaded with you later. Okay. So let's go back to what we want to do now. There's a question here. Okay, please let me address it. Let me check. So this is some of the database that are relevant. ESCO host, Emerald, Palgrave, Sage, Science Direct, Wiley, Taylor, and Francis. The one that deepens are the ones which are more common to us. Yeah, but the other ones which are also good is Google Scholar. Google Scholar. There's also African Journal Online. These are relatively free. You can use these ones too. Then Our Campus Access talked about it. I went to the search. You can also add advanced search and add another country to it, another variable. So tourism financing Ghana, tourism financing, let's say another country, or even can say Gen Z. So you can look at Generation Z people in that, or tourism financing theory, or all kinds of permutations to get something that you can do. Then I record and retrieve. Okay. Please ask your question. Dr. Mana will have to take a phone call, please. Dr. Mana will answer you. So, Doc, answer their questions for them.
Okay, Doc. This is Francis here.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
wanted to
Dr.
ask.
Mana was listening to you, so you can go ahead. Yeah.
Very well. So I wanted to ask, in organizing your resources, that is your articles, and let's assume that your research topic is based on a local institution or a company. Do you have to bother yourself looking at international research works that have been done instead of you focusing on maybe articles that were done within the jurisdiction of where your research topic is?
Okay, let's take the second one.
Yes, please. Please, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, so please, I want to ask, Prof mentioned that it's ideal to use very recent articles and papers for your research. But I think in his search, there were instances where we're looking for a paper and probably the ones we are getting are quite older. So I want to ask if the papers you are getting for your research, I mean, the topic you have in mind is quite older, but then, so the very relevant ones you are getting are quite older. Does it mean that you can still go ahead and use them, or you would have to reconsider your topic? And then also, I want to ask if there is kind of an ideal number of papers you may have to probably review, or is it that if you review just a few papers and you're able to come up with maybe what you want to do is okay, or you have to review around this number of papers to be able to be okay that, oh, now you can say this particular gap we want to work on, probably nobody have worked on that gap. Yeah, thank you.
So the first question was on the jurisdiction. So the work that we are doing has not only been done, or it's not only Ghana that the work has been done in. For example, we are looking at tourism. Okay, you may have to look at tourism globally. Usually we tell students that when we are writing, we use what we call a funnel approach, maybe when we have the opportunity to go through. So what has been done globally? What is being done elsewhere? Okay, and so you find all those things. That's where you are going to find your gaps. Are you going to find all the gaps in Ghana? That may draw you limitations. Okay, so widen your scope whilst you are writing, whilst you are reading, so that when you are contextualizing, you know that this is what is happening elsewhere. And so this is what, when I'm writing about a particular company within the jurisdiction that you find yourself, then you know exactly what you are doing. And so don't limit yourself to Ghana when you are searching. Is that okay, the first question?
Yes, Doc, that is okay. Thank you.
The second question was on the years for the search. Yes, when you're writing your literature review, you may find papers but in mine, I used a paper from 1979. It was not used for an argument. Okay. It was not used for an argument. It was used to buttress a point that I was making. And so if you limit yourself to papers that have been written because you think, okay, so this work I'm doing is not new, kind of. And so papers that I'm finding are all old. That means between the time the paper was written and the time that you are writing your thesis, the gap that you are trying to fill might have been filled already. And so it is essential that you limit yourself to the 5 years. Some people may go as far as 6 years, which is sometimes acceptable depending on the kind of topic you are looking at. But it's very important that you look at recent papers. That is, if you are using those papers to make arguments to establish your gaps. Okay, so be very mindful about that. Otherwise, you may have to change your topic. Then the last question, which has escaped me slightly. Please, can you remind me now?
Yes, please. So I was asking if there is an ideal number of papers that we would have
That's
to
fine.
review.
Yes. So when we get to data, your analysis stage, you may hear something called point of saturation. That will come up later. But there are times that when you are reviewing papers, you know that there's a scope for the review that you are conducting. For example, the study on tourism. Prof has been mentioning tourism financing. Did you find papers on tourism with something else rather than financing? Yes, you may use that paper because you may find gaps in there. But you may find something about tourism that does not entirely correlate with what you are doing or correspond to what you are doing. Okay. And so you may get to a point where you realize that the papers that you are getting are not making sense to the topic that you have taken. And so for my MPhil, I used about 90 something papers. I've forgotten. My PhD, I used 109. Okay, that was the point that I got to. That was the time that I got to point of saturation where there was nothing new being added to the literature that I was the literature review that I was conducting. And so there is no limit to that, but then define your scope and then know which papers you are adding and which papers you are not adding. If there's a paper that will contribute substantially to the work that you are doing, add it. If there's a paper that doesn't make sense at all to the work that you are doing, please drop it. I think Prof showed the diagram and the spider diagram. If you pay attention to that, it will really help you in defining how you group your papers. Yes, this diagram.
Yes.
Explain it to.
Okay. So let me take the last question so that maybe if that's in relation to that, then we can. Ransford, please ask your question.
Okay,
is it in relation to what you are doing so that I can?
Yes. So it's just a follow-up on the time duration of the paper. So I wanted to ask, let's say if I'm using, for example, if I'm using a stakeholder theory to underpin my research, and I know that that theory was proposed by Freeman in 1984 in his paper Strategic Management. Can I still use it, or I would have to use someone who has referred to Freeman's in his paper in recent times?
No, you are confusing the thing. There are different aspects for the writing. Your work is structured in many different ways. If you are writing your literature review and in which you are trying to explain concepts and stuff, if I explain the concept, then the originator of the concept is still Freeman. If you are doing arguments to get your research problem, that is when you want to use more contemporary research to do the work. Do you understand me?
Yes, Prof.
Good.
Yes.
So if nobody said you can't use old papers, but you can't use old papers to define why you are doing your work or why this research is being done. For example, look at the screen I have here. I have a paper on e-commerce in developing countries. I look at resources and stuff. It was published in around 2014. But papers take some time. But when we're establishing the gap, look at what's happened. It takes some time before a paper is accepted and it gets published. So let's say it was accepted around 2012. So look at it. Look at the papers I'm using here. 2012.
The screen is not showing.
Oh,
the
sorry.
paper.
Good. So look at it. This is the paper. It was published it came online in 2014, but it was accepted for publication a little bit earlier. Okay, so in 2012, when I was reading I started looking at, so 2014, 5 years is what? 5 years behind 2014 is what? Gentlemen.
2019.
2019, good. But you see, I've got 2009 papers here. 2009, by 2012, 2014, 5 years is not 2019, backwards. I'm coming to forward.
2009.
So do you see that my first paper is a relevant paper? My first paper to do my introduction. This one is just explaining concepts in the area and establishing why I'm doing the research. So to look at all the papers here, the only ones which are far behind is 2008. And then this one is an old paper, but there's a new paper before it, 2008, before the old paper came, 2003, 2011 again. So you have got 2011, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even the same paragraph that you see here. There are about 10 references here, but more of them are what? More within the 5 years or 6 years. But this is where I establish my problem and why I'm doing the research. So look at it. Let me just make an argument. In reviewing e-commerce in developing countries literature in more detail, both conceptual and empirical, we find literature first is more oriented to investigating discriminating factors in initial adopters and non-adopters. Second, the studies echo that there's initial efforts to address resource poverty in developing economies is characterized by, let me just try to zoom in a little bit. Or some of the students may be using, good. It's characterized by a complex interaction of global, national, and firm resources. And I give an example. The example I'm giving is a 2012 example, a 2011 example. Then I point the gap. Though valuable, these studies are quite silent on the strategies through which DE firms, developing country firms, navigate around the constraints to get benefits. Thus, firms could be greatly helped by research that provides such answers. So my underpinning question is, how do DE firms orient their resources to develop e-commerce capabilities and achieve benefits amidst their national constraints? This research uses the resource-based theory. And then I justify why I'm using the resource-based theory. A few studies that have used the resource-based theory are this guy and this guy. These are the ones who have used the theory. So I have to go for old papers and new papers, the ones which are closer to me. And I point them that a few those ones in developing countries are this and that. I can't do anything, so I have to quote a little bit behind. And I point out the gaps that they have. Then I go and point out that why I chose Ghana. And I justify by mentioning that Ghana has got some track record. I mentioned Boating and I mentioned a first work. Then I end up making some justification on that some papers on e-commerce have been published already and more need to be published. Then I conclude. When I come here, I'm now defining e-commerce. So this may be like my chapter 2 in my long essay. So what is e-commerce? E-commerce is defined. And the definition there, I can't come and take a present definition if there doesn't exist a present. It's an old definition that we all use. So I use this one. It has not changed. Then I use another old definition to explain e-business. It has not changed. But when I start talking about e-business benefits, I look for somebody who has done a recent paper on e-business benefits. That is myself. And I say operational, information, and strategic, and I quote it. Then I go on to talk about explaining the variables. I talk about what is strategic benefits. I use my former PhD supervisor's work, 2017. Then I see another work he did in 2005, but he's a top guy in the area. So I start mentioning that. When I come to the strategic approach, remember I say we don't know strategies for e-commerce. So what are the strategies that are being used? I first of all have to define the term developing economy. Definition of developing economy, which is also known as low and middle income economies. I actually use definitions. The definitions, I didn't define it. I can't go in. If there's no recent definition, I have to use what is available. So I cite this one and I cite that one. Then I go and point out the challenges that firms in developing countries are facing. I bring this one. But when I start looking at the strategies, I look for more papers which are quite new and talk about strategies. So I mentioned them in the table. And I summarize it in this table, which I was going to tell you that you guys then have to learn how to do a table. So we'll give you an assignment on creating a table like this. And then for you to go and do on the area of research. Before you can use that to write a research problem. So the area of study, the focus, the underpinning theory and framework, the research method and countries, and then the relevant gaps for future research. So that, and how do you find the relevant gaps? Usually you find gaps by looking at people's introduction. Every introduction of the paper will tell you why there's a gap and what he's trying to address. So a few studies have used e-commerce in a strategic perspective. So you want to address that one. Or they are silent on e-commerce strategy, which they use to get benefits. So that is one. But this guy has tried to solve the problem in this paper. So if you take a paper, you have to look at the conclusion too. what are the new gaps he has left for people like you and me? So in the conclusion, usually people will mention it either in the limitations or future research directions. So he says that, okay, we recommend, therefore, the application of this model for e-commerce research and in the tenets of critical realism. That we use critical realism for this one. It's a philosophy. We'll talk about that later. Collaboration between multiple case studies, perhaps, with firms in other industries and other development of other transactive and transformation capabilities is therefore necessary. Furthermore, as observed, the use of web hosting service abroad, research can also investigate how developing countries take advantage of cloud computing services as a global information system. So somebody can study e-business, but from the cloud computing perspective, where do they host their websites and stuff? So the gaps here are what somebody is telling me to go and do in this part type and conclusion of the work. Okay. The gaps here are what others are telling me to do. So you also look at the gaps and use to define the work you are going to do. And it is those type of gaps that everybody reads people's papers and generate a table like this. So when you are starting your MPhil, the first thing you should try and do, and even a PhD, is to try and do a gap table so that you are sure of all the key papers in your area and why you should do and what gaps are relevant to you. Please, do you understand it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, Prof.
Okay. So all this is part of the literature review process. Okay. Good. So coming back, we were discussing the spider diagram. So
Yes,
the spider diagram is the first level of categorizing the literature. You put the title of the paper here, tourism financing. What is the first idea you have? Green financing, idea one. Which are the examples of papers from there? One from Ghana, one from Cote d'Ivoire, one from South Africa. Then maybe another idea you saw is maybe financing tourism financing and international tourists, something like that. You put it idea two, examples of it, idea three, examples of it, idea four. So you can then start writing by saying that tourism financing have been studied from different perspectives. Some of the perspectives, four perspectives tend to be more recent. One of the first is tourism green financing, which tends to look at this and this. An example of such work is Kwame Nai and something from Ghana and something from South Africa, who argue this and this and that. The second concept is about financing, tourism financing and international tourists. How do international tourists fund their, and it's asking questions like how do international tourists fund their travel arrangements? Then you look at, for example, a paper from Denmark pointed this, but it was in contrast with another paper from China or supporting another paper from Monaco. Idea three, then you discuss. You can write better if you know how to categorize your literature. If you don't know how to categorize your literature, you'll not write better. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Dr. Bano, please, take over the screen and show them how to do the table.
Okay, bro. Please
So
let
you
me
can
switch.
open a Word document and then use it to show you. Let me stop sharing.
Okay, I'm switching to my laptop.
Okay.
Lois, your hand is up. Please go ahead with the question while I set up.
Yes, please. I just wanted to ask that from what he has been presenting, I'm seeing a structure with how the literature review is being done. So is there a structure to be followed when you are doing literature review? Or you can go ahead and then do it with regards to, especially first he talks about the papers that have been, the research that has been done already, the gaps that he's realizing. Then the next one was the definitions and maybe something else. So is there a structure to be followed when I'm doing my literature review so that I present a holistic view of everything? Or I can go ahead with how I want to present it, maybe with the definitions first, then maybe the methodology and some of the papers to support everything that I've said so far.
Okay. So your question is there a structure as to a standard to follow when you're writing your literary review?
Yes, please. Exactly.
Okay. So I won't say it's a structure. I will say it's a convention. Conventions are not cast in stone. So, hello.
Yes, please. I'm listening.
Okay. And so, usually people will start with, in fact, your chapter 2 should start with your 2.1 chapter overview, which will tell us about the area. I mean, a summary of what you are coming to do in the chapter 2. And then someone may go straight into looking at the key concepts in the area. Okay. And then some departments will do empirical review, theoretical review, and then one last one. Okay. But that's what I'm saying. It's more like a convention rather than what others may say, it's been a rule or something.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. But I hope that is spelled out in the textbook so that maybe if we would want some template to follow when we are doing the research, we can always find them and
Oh,
follow
yes.
them.
Yes.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Thank you.
Okay. Emmanuel, please go ahead. Emmanuel.
Okay, sir. Sir, please, my question is, when we were doing our undergrad, okay, when we submitted our project work, yeah, we were supposed to have a similarity index of below 20%. Okay, so that is like the plagiarism report. Now, the literature review is more or less like you are citing what people have said. So, like, you are not supposed to change anything because it's not like it's something coming from you. It's something coming from
Who told you you're not supposed to
somebody.
change anything? There's nothing like you're not supposed to change anything. You summarize what you have seen and you pick the concepts and ideas. Occasionally, you may cite verbatim. But if you are picking the concept and ideas, you can reference appropriately and the plagiarism will not happen. So we paraphrase. We paraphrase. We don't say, you are thinking of just going to copy people's work and paste it. Is that what you are seeing in the work here?
No, Prof. Okay,
Anyway.
I get to know. Please, thank you very much.
Right. So we'll also have a session on referencing. And so I think all these things will come up when we are doing the reference. Now, so the issue about literary review, the systematic review, the table that Prof has made to share with you. Before we go into it, please, I'll share these assignments with you. And so you are to select a contemporary issue relevant to your discipline and conduct a systematic review of at least 20 papers using peer-reviewed journals. Okay. And so you are not going to use conference papers, you are not going to use periodicals or anything. You are going to use only peer-reviewed journals. And you are going to critically analyze the literature to identify at least 3 significant research gaps. Write a background between 500 to 700 words and develop a detailed research problem, minimum 600 words. Based on the research problem, outline a research purpose, objective, and questions, and propose a concise and descriptive research title. I'm sure you may be asking, literature reviews with title count. Please, we'll come there. Discuss the dominant theoretical frameworks and methodological approaches associated with the selected area and suggest 3 to 5 future research directions that address the identified gaps. And then submit a well-structured. Prof, please, is it still the 8th week or? Because these people.
No, we have to do it around the 6 week because we have to go through before. We are doing only 10 weeks, so we don't have much time.
Okay. Okay. So submit. I'll work on this and give it to you again. But keep that in mind that we are doing the 6th week. Submit a well-structured report by the 6th week of the semester, adhering to the academic formatting standards. So I've given you the structure that you are going to use, and then the email address that you sent your essays to. Now, in the subject of the email, add MPhil to it. So start with MPhil before your subject counts so that we can, because we use the email for the PhDs and then the MBAs too. Okay. And so this is a paper on cloud computing. So it's actually a research literature review that was conducted on cloud computing by one of our seniors and prof and one other lecturer who was there in the department. Now, the person looked at cloud computing in general, okay, and then the issues around cloud computing as at the time this paper was written. I think this paper was written around 2014, 2015, about, and it came out in 2018. I've forgotten. Prince was ahead of us. Check. Okay, so that was 2014, yes. The paper was received by the journal in 2014, revised in 2016, and accepted in 2017, published and came online somewhere in 2018. Okay, and so one thing you need to pay attention to is that there are parts of the research that you would have to do, okay, in order to inform the chapter 1 that you write. The chapter 1 is your research background and the research problem, together with your purpose, objectives, questions, and others. And so it is important for you to go through this literature review process for you to identify the key areas that the key issues that have been discussed around the area that you are working on. And so before you start, it is advisable that you have a table. Okay, so let's go through the development of the table. So it's a very broad table. So change your dimension, the orientation to landscape. Okay, so let's have it layout landscape, orientation landscape, and then add at least or minimum of 6 columns. Okay, now in the first column, put study there. Some people may decide to put paper. Okay, so we can put the study there. And then in the second column, put purpose there. Now, every paper that you read, there's a paper here. Let me pull the paper out. Every paper you read has a purpose. You can't read a paper which doesn't have a purpose. So usually you find within the paper that the purpose of this paper is to do this, this, and that, and that. And that is where you find the purpose. It is a purpose that will also help you. Permit me to open the paper, one paper for you too. The paper that Prof showed you earlier, so that we can use that one too. I believe you can see my screen.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah, but the slides has some key things that you can use to guide you in the breakdown of the table. And I've also okay, you can use a simpler table or use the slide. So the slides I give to you, look at slide number 21. Yes, we are looking at the first one, session 3. So either you open the PDF or the PowerPoint.
Okay.
The one I was using.
Yes, I opened the PowerPoint.
Yes. Usually the students should start by doing this one before they transpose it to a table. But otherwise they'll not do it well. If they go because they are first timers, they'll go to the table will be scant. So if they do like this, then after that they then transfer, then you can give them a table format. So they should do this one. In Manchester, Richard, he should let you do this one 10, then you staple it together. Then you summarize this one into a table that will compare them. So you do like that so that you can be able to learn how to do it at the paper level before you do the cross listing analysis. Yes.
I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
So this one, so always you refer to this one in case you are writing your chapter 2. You want a definition. Because you not okay, there's a definition, you make notes. So some people even add number 8 notes for my work. What I saw in this paper that will help my work. Page 3 told me this, page 4 told me this, page 5 told me this. A good research problem is there because you are writing just short notes here, but short points here. But you write number 8, where you can. Oh, Chodo, if you do that, you sack you. Chodo, Gansa, if you do this again, we'll sack you from the class. And if you remove you, you can't join again throughout the whole term, and you fail. So I've warned you. Most of who is is their friend. Let's tell him. He seems he's still talking with whoever he's talking with. Okay, good. Me, please continue.
Okay. So we'll go back to the table once we are through with this. And so please pay attention to listen to this. The assignment that you have, the fact that we say we are taking it in the C3 doesn't mean we can't question you on that. And so there will be occasions where we will ask you the progress of work and we'll call you randomly. And so please, we can ask you to tell us what you have in relation to the summary, article summary. So let us see at least 2 or 3 of what you have done so far. Otherwise, you may go and ask your friends and people will confuse you. And MPhils are fond of doing that. Instead of asking questions in class, you ask your friends, what is happening? What's this thing I don't understand? And then someone may mislead you. And so please, once we give you the assignments, we may come again next week to ask you how far with the assignments. Okay. And so article summary 1. Okay, so 1-page summary, sorry. Now, I told you we'll be having something on references. But before then, when you get your article, possibly from the databases that you are going to download them from, most of the articles give you how to cite them. If that's so difficult for you, go to Google Scholar. If the article is in Google Scholar, go to where you have cites and then copy the APA reference there and then use it for this whilst we wait for the session on referencing. Okay, now
But
from the one,
why don't you demonstrate it? Because some of them don't even know what to Google Scholar, even though I've opened it today. Don't take anything for granted, though. This is you have told the thing the person still has not heard.
so this is my page. Let's assume we want.
Okay.
Let's assume we want to use this article for example. So this is the article we want to use. So from the article itself, it will tell you how to cite that article. If that article is not there, if the referencing style is not there, then you would have to, okay, so this one doesn't tell you how to reference the article. And so that gives you that go ahead to now go to Google Scholar. I believe you can see the cites and the quotation marks here. If you can still give me thumbs up, let me know. Where the
Yes,
site.
yes, Doc,
Right.
we can see it.
Now you click that one, and then University of Ghana uses APA 7. Okay, that's a referencing style, APA 7. And so you copy the APA. This one has been formatted into APA 7 already. So you copy this one here and then paste it. So let's go away with this table for now. And then paste it here. That's your first paper. Okay. The first paper that you are article summaries. So paper 1. Paste it here. Okay. And so this is your paper 1. Now, I've done something here. We'll see it when we are doing the AP referencing. In referencing, every line apart from the first line is indented. Okay. And so that's why I moved the second line. If there are 10 lines, you move all of them like this. Now let's go back to the slide. Then the point 2 is asking us for the research problem and the research question of the paper. So let's go back to the paper. So now you go into the paper itself and then read what is there. Now, most articles that you read may not tell you that this is the research question or research objective. You may find them by way of purpose. And so realize that the tables that I was drawing then, I was putting purpose in the second column. So you may find them being by way of purpose. Some may state that this is the research objective that the paper is addressing, or some may state that the paper seeks to answer these research questions. And so when you are reading articles, you are likely to come by research objectives, research questions, or research purpose. So when you start reading, this study examined mechanisms that influence romance fraud perpetrators, public display of affluence, an aspect of whatever. So clearly you can tell that this is the purpose of the paper. But to confirm, look at what we are seeing here. This one line. This study seeks to investigate the mechanisms that instigate cyber offenders to flaunt their ill-gotten wealth. And so that is the purpose of the paper. So you copy this and then go and paste it here. So you have purpose, objective, or question. In this case, you are doing purpose. If it's an objective, you can bold in the objective and then leave the purpose. So this is our purpose. Please, I believe you are following.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Right. Then the research framework used. Someone asked a question about institutional theory and all those. I believe most of you may be confused about that. So there's also a section on research frameworks, theories, research frameworks, and all those within the semester. And so we'll come to that when we get to that session. And so you asked the research framework used for the study. Let's distinguish this from the text. Please, I believe you are following. Now, the research framework that we use, or the theory that we used for the work, is called the differential association theory. Okay, and this is the theory that we use. This is the theory that we use for the work. So, it tells you the guide for the conducting of the work, and so you may decide to use research frameworks, research theory or framework used. So let's delete this. So theory or theories or framework or frameworks that were used, because you may come across studies that use more than one theory. Okay. So the theory we used was differential association theory. So copy this. Please, the fact that we are copying and pasting doesn't mean that we shouldn't understand the theories we are using. Before I came up with this theory for this work, I had gone through several theories in relation to the area that I was looking at. And so when you put something there, you need to understand what it does before you start doing your writing. And so when we begin the proper literature review or the systematic review, notice that you may come across several theories that have been used in relation to the study that you are conducting. And so why are you choosing a particular theory to conduct your study rather than choosing another one? Okay, so you should know why. You should know the reasons you are choosing a particular theory than taking another one. Then the research methods that was used. Please, if you have any question, you can raise your hand or you can put it in the chat. I'll address it when I see it. So the research methods used. Now let's go back to the paper. Where do we find the research method? There's a section on methodology. And so this study employs qualitative research methodology grounded in critical realism paradigm. And so the methodology used is qualitative research methodology. We will not end, and then we'll come back and beef it up. Okay. So grounded in the critical to investigate the factors influence. So I repeated the purpose here. Okay. So don't keep repeating the purpose when you are writing. Francis, I'll come to you. Don't keep repeating the purpose when you are writing, but try and subtly bring it in so that the reader is fully aware that this methodology that I'm using, okay, is related to this particular purpose. So the person reading will not lose sight of the purpose of the paper whilst reading the paper. Yes, Francis, and then Simon will come in. Francis, please go ahead. Whilst you do that, I'll keep moving on. Francis, please go ahead. Yes, Francis, your question. Oh, then Simon, please ask your question.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Good morning, please.
So, with the research framework used, is it always that you use only one research framework or you can use multiple?
Oh, I mentioned that you may come across papers that have used more than one research theory, theory or research framework. Okay, so if your work demands that you use multiple theories, why not? For my PhD, I used 3 theories. Okay, because of the nature of the question I was trying to address. And so if your work demands that the area you are researching demands that you do more than one theories, yes, you have to add 1 more or 2 more to it. Is that okay?
And you will list all in that section.
I hope you are not getting confused. What we are doing is reviewing actually papers. This is not our work.
So, in essence, if the person has 3, you will write all the 3 there.
The person has 10, you list all the 10.
Thank you.
Right. Francis, if you're ready to talk now.
Yes, Doc. So
And
I wanted to know,
let me
you
explain
use it.
something. Nina, let me explain something. Francis, wait. It's not just about copying a thing there. You should understand what the person used the thing for in relation to what you are reading. Do you understand it? So what did he use the theory for? Try to understand what makes it applicable to the work. So because you are trying to do a chronology of what has been done so far and the choices, because these are going to influence you yourself in future. Do you understand it? Hello?
Yes, sir. We are.
Yes, Doc.
Okay.
Yeah, Prof, we understand.
Yes, Prof.
So you are going to use this one for each article. So if you have got 10 articles, you do a summary of each of the articles. And after that, you can compare them across in a table. That's all we are trying to tell you. So you are going to pick 10 articles. We just want to use totally 10 articles related to one topic of choice. So you research, you choose 10 relevant papers that's of your work, and then you use it to do the summaries, individual summaries before you do one article of choice. You go ahead.
Okay, Prof. Please, and Francis, your question, please.
Yes, Doc. I wanted to know, assuming you use a theory and your supervisor says that it has been overly used, but you know the relevance of the theory for your work, you have to.
I think the class is getting something wrong. We have not gotten to that point yet.
Yeah, just learning each other. You ask you questions about your supervisor and see, I haven't reached any place like that. If your supervisor is so telling you that something overly used, he is the supervisor. Listen to your supervisor. Are you the one supervising you? You say you know the relevance of the theory over this, but the supervisor doesn't know. You that you started work just 2 days ago, you know better than your supervisor. Hey, boss. The supervisor will advise you because he doesn't want you to use something that there will be little room for contribution. What we are trying to do is to learn how to summarize literature so that it can guide us to be able to write. Please, we are not trying to do anything different than that. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. Daniel,
Yes,
please your question, and then I'll move on from you. Okay, so there's a question in the
Now,
in the chat.
I think you should finish first and compile the questions and answer them,
Okay.
because otherwise you interrupt those who are following.
Daniel, please put your question in the chat. There's one already there, so we'll address
Yeah.
all of them at
Okay, hello, sir. Please, this
Oh.
is Emmanuel.
Hey,
I'm sharing.
Yeah, so I'm saying that put your question in the
everything.
chat, please. Emmanuel.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll address all the questions at once. Okay, so we're on methodology. Now, we said the methodology used was qualitative research, so we highlighted that. And I said you shouldn't only end there. Okay. Now, beyond just the methodology, you can also add context. So let's add context to it. Now, the context that was used was within the space of Ghana. Okay. You could have inferred from the beginning. So let's say it's somewhere here, or it's even here. Yeah. So the context was Ghana. Now let's put the context there. We'll see reasons why we are adding context to it. Beyond the context, you can also add the methods. So the person used semi-structured interviews, and then the analysis was thematic analysis. You can add all these things to it for particular reasons that maybe when you are done writing your review, these things may also give you gaps as to how data has been collected within the area. For my PhD, for instance, how data was collected was a very big issue for me when I was writing. Okay, and so this particular kind of summaries was very important when I was having my systematic review. And so we have the research methods and then the context over there. Now, the next one is the results, findings, and discussions. So please don't just do it as, I mean, the way I'm doing it, though, please read the papers. Otherwise, if you just go there, content, then you go and search for country or Ghana, Nigeria, whatever, and then you come and paste, you may not have a fair understanding of the paper. I'm doing this because I've read the paper. I wrote the paper, and so I know what is in the paper. But since you have not read the paper, you have to read the paper very well. Before we close, I'll show you a sample of how I do my reading. Okay. Now, so what are the findings that the study came up with? Let's see what we have here. Let's see the findings. Okay, so findings, let's look for the findings here. So after every discussion, I came up with my finding, I think. If not, let's copy it from the abstract. Doesn't mean you find all the findings in the abstract. And so data analysis was performed using thematic analysis, which revealed that the social environment, peer influence, links with high net worth individuals, upper structure clientelism, the involvement of social media and collaboration with other corrupt officials, all had a substantial influence on cyber criminals' public display of wealth. So this is the finding. In fact, when you go deeper into it, you may find other findings that you may not have in the abstract. The abstract is just a summary of what you have done, what you have written. And so it is important for you to read the paper rather than do what I am doing. I'm doing this because of time and then because I read the paper and I know where to find what. Otherwise, you may have to read the whole paper for you to come up with what we are doing now. Okay, so high net worth individuals, state officials, display of. Okay. So there's something here. High net worth. so this one also goes out to 12. They all 12. Okay. Then the next ones will be the conclusions. I believe we are following, please.
Yes, Doc, we are.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
Doc.
Okay. Now, let's go down to where we have conclusion. Some people may decide to put the conclusion and the findings together. Sometimes too, it is not advisable. So let's see what we have in the conclusion. Okay, I'm sure then we can pick this. The studies find emphasize the importance of collaborative approach with various agencies. Various agencies work together to identify, apprehend, and prosecute offenders while addressing the root cause of cyber criminal behavior. So this could be one. So as many as you find, you put them there. So you are not just copying and pasting. You need to understand what you are doing. So in terms of law enforcement, that means this is just one part of the conclusion that we have. So like I said, don't just copy and paste. You have to read and understand what you are reading and how it applies to your work. Okay, which various agencies work together to identify, apprehend, and prosecute offenders while addressing the root cause of cybercrime. Okay. So this is just one. There may be several others. So strengthening interagency cooperation is also another one. So don't just put one there. We are putting one there because we are not doing the complete work in this class. Okay. So we have one. You can have the two, you can have the three. If there are more, you keep adding. Okay. Then gaps for future research. This is very important. Please, if you are talking to someone, stop talking and then pay attention here. This is very important. When I was doing my MPhil, I'll read a complete paper and say there were no gaps because I didn't see the person saying that this is a gaps. Okay. And so when you are reading the paper, there are ways that you can find gaps. And we have two types. So the inference, that's the one that you read the paper and then you don't see the person saying that this is a gap, but what do you see as a shortcoming of the paper? Okay. The second one, which is gap spotting, you read through the paper and the person will tell you that future research should explore the dynamics of online romance fraud in different different cultural contexts, as well as investigate the impact of technological advancement on the modus operandi of the offenders. So this is one. This is one gap. Let's bring it here. So that is one gap. Then let's go back and get a second one. Moreover, longitudinal studies that track the trajectories of romance fraud offenders and the effectiveness of interventions over time can provide valuable insights into the long-term outcomes of these strategies. So you don't just, the way this one is put, you don't just copy what is there and go and put it there. It is telling you that there's a need to have longitudinal studies that can track the trajectories of these offenders and how effective interventions over time can provide valuable insights into the long-term outcomes of those strategies. Okay, and so that's gap 2. Now, there may be several others, but let's keep to these 2 gaps. And so this is what we have by way of summarizing just a single paper. Okay, this is what we have by summarizing one paper. Good. Whilst we do that, please, let's address the questions in the chat. Someone should read the questions for us. Someone should read the questions for us whilst we correct these ones. Please, who is reading for us? Victoria.
Oh, okay, so one of the question is, okay, so from Edwina, do I take all of this from one article using, do I take all this from one article I'm using, or I can get it from the different article I'm using?
Okay, so the assignment is asking you to do 20 articles, and so you are going to do this for all 20 articles. Edwina, the assignment is asking you to do for 20 articles, and so this is what you are going to do for all 20.
Okay, sir, understood.
Okay. The second question is saying, sir, please, the purpose of the article as revealed in both abstract and introduction, which one should we go for? Whilst we're reading, I told you that you can also find it in the abstract. But note that the abstracts are usually summaries of the work. And so the person may not state it clearly as it has been stated in the introduction. For example, this study examined mechanisms that influence romance fraud perpetrators, public display of affluence. That is what I stated here. That is what I stated here. But when you go to the introduction, this study seeks to investigate the mechanisms that instigate cyber offenders to flaunt their ill-gotten wealth. And this is what I stated here. Even though they are the same, some papers may not give you exactly what it is like in the introduction, in the abstract. Okay, Daniel. And so it is advisable that at least the abstract will give you an idea of the paper so that you can download it or not. But when you are ready to do this, I would advise that you go to the introduction to do that. Please, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There is one other question.
From Lois, is the research method different from the methodology used?
This question, let's keep it, because if we begin, I'll come back to it and address it, but let's stick with what we are doing now. I'll address that particular question. Please remind me to do that before we leave today.
Okay. Gabriel is asking, please, could you revisit the discussion and conclusion? My internet was interrupted.
Oh, please, the recording will be made available to you, I beg you.
Okay. Emmanuel is asking, respectfully touch on the
assignment again.
Yes, please.
Okay. I've skipped 2 questions already. Let's see what is there in the assignment. So, where is it? Okay. I'll share the assignment with you, but the assignment is asking you to use 20 articles. Okay. Download 20 peer-reviewed articles. Identify 3 significant research gaps in the articles that you put together. Significant. That means you can come up with 20 gaps, but which 3 of them are significant? Okay. 20 significant gaps. Okay, based on the research problem, outline a research purpose. So you would have written the research problem already. I'll share the samples with you. And so I think once I've shared it with you, I think the understanding will be there. Okay. The questions that are related to the review itself. Please, I think that should help us, because I'll share the assignments with you and the samples. So
Okay. Evelyn is asking, how different are the theories from research frameworks?
okay, this one too will be addressed by Prof when we get to, I think, next week or next 2 weeks. If I should start, I will take the wind out of the sail. But Prof knows how best to deal with the research theory. I mean the theories, and then what makes them frameworks and what makes them models. And so when you are reading the articles, you come across theories, you come across frameworks. Okay, when you are reading the articles, those are the ones that you would need, you would have to use for your work. Okay, for the review, for the summaries that you are doing. But then within the next 2 weeks, that's the difference.
For the students who are eager to do this, they should go to the YouTube and look for Richard Watson Studios. All the videos are there for Research Made Easy and then stuff. You can go and look for this course, even UGBS 653 there. And watch ahead of time. The way people are really eager to do things, go and watch it ahead of time. All the questions will be answered.
I'm trying to open the YouTube studios. Okay, my YouTube is not open. Okay. So
Ebenezer is asking, do we always find the gaps in the conclusion always?
Do we always find the gaps in the conclusion? I said that there are gap spotting. That is what you are asking. That means you are likely to find some of the gaps in the conclusion. Okay. And some may not even state it. That means once we are reading the paper, you should be able to infer the weaknesses of the paper, and then tell whether that is a gap that you can run with or not. For example, I told you that when I was doing my PhD, the methods for data collection, the methods that they used was an issue for me. And so it was not stated clearly in the gaps that the offenders had not been looked, and so future research should look at the offenders. I put about 20 or 40 papers together and looked at them and the weakness within the papers that I had read. So what are they doing and what have they not done? I noticed that all the papers that I had read were looking at victims, we're looking at defense mechanisms, we're looking at dating platforms, but there were no papers that were looking at offenders. This was not stated in any of their gaps or their pointers for future research. I had to infer. And so it is not always that you spot the gap in the conclusion as you asked. Okay. Please let's continue. Is that the question?
That's all for the question.
Okay. So the methodology and the methods issue that was asked, you can say that the work that we are looking at, where is it? The work that we read, the methodology was qualitative. Okay. But then the methods will be the approaches that you use in collecting data. That's the simplest one that I can see. So the methods that we used in the work was face-to-face interview. Did we say that? I think I highlighted it. So let me quickly go there. Okay, so I highlighted it here. So this is the methodology that we have highlighted at the top here. Here, the methodology was qualitative research methodology, clearly stated there. And so what is the broader methodology that you are using? What is the umbrella methodology that you are using? What is the umbrella approach that you are using for the study? And so we used qualitative research here, but then delved into the particulars of collecting data or the details of how the work was conducted. And so we use qualitative, fine, but which strategy, which approach did you use? So we looked at semi-structured in-person interviews. Okay, others may come up with analyzing news articles. Others may come up with document analysis. Others may come up with even watching YouTube videos to draw inferences from there. Okay, others may come up with artifact analysis. All this will be studied, will be treated during the semester. But since the question has come, let's address it. And so the method used here was semi-structured in-person interviews. And then the methodology was qualitative. Please, is that okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. And so once this is done, where is the, okay. So you do this for all the 20 articles that you are going to work on. Paper one. So we can just put this one here. Let's put this one here. And so we are done with this paper. Then you do same for paper 2. You do same for paper 3. You do same for paper 4. All the way to the 20th paper. Please note that this is not, this is an assignment that even PhDs are given to do. I remember when we were doing our PhD in the first year, that was an assignment that we had to do for not just 20 papers. We did it for about 5 years. So 2011 to 2016 or so, no, 2012 to 2017, when we started our PhD. And it was not just one particular group of papers. There were 5 conferences. You are using peer-reviewed articles. We used 5 conferences. So you can imagine the volume of work that we had to do. And so PhDs also do the same kind of work. And so if you're able to do this very well and learn it very well, you can transition what you learn from here into your future studies. Okay. Now, so this is what we have. Now, how do we draw the table? I believe there are no questions in relation to this. Okay. Now, so let's change the table format for the second page. You can do it on a new document, in a new document, I mean. But let's do it here for now. The document of this one. Okay. So what we are going to do is that once you are done with all 20 papers, draw your table. I was saying that use not more than 6. So you have your paper here or your study here. Then you have your purpose, objective or question. You have your theories or frameworks here. Okay, so the assignment was asking you to use Times New Roman, so let's change it so that we can. Then the methods and context. So we can do findings, can do conclusions, or we can, for the sake of the table, let's put gaps. Okay, so the paper is from this person in 2024. So and then the purpose you already have here to investigate. So you are starting from 2. Then the theory is the differential association theory. It's here. If you want to go further, you can add the proponents of the theory there, so that in case that's the theory you want to use, you can go straight to it rather than now going to look for who propounded it and all that. Sometimes there are arguments around the proponents of the theory. Okay. Then the method, qualitative, Ghana, and the context is Ghana. So qualitative The context is Ghana. So let's go back to the paper for now, and then semi-structured interviews. So the findings. Let's put the findings there. Okay. And then the gaps that we identified. So you may come across more than one gap. Put all the gaps there. Now, after doing for all 20 papers, now let me also advise, some people may decide to use Excel. That's also okay. Some people may also decide to number. So to the left, let's number A1. The numbering here, I'm doing A1, A2 because that may help in your personal analysis. So when you look for paper A1, you know the particular paper that you are referring to, not necessarily in the analysis that's the review that you are going to write. And so that will be up to you to decide what you want to do with it, how you want to go about it. Okay. Now, once you are done with this is what you are going to do. So let's assume the review that we are conducting here. Sorry. The review we are conducting here, the broad topic that we are looking at is, what's that? Okay. The broad topic that we are looking at here is online romance scams. Online romance scams. This is the broad topic that we are looking at. Now, what we are going to have here will be online romance scam research, a review of research themes, frameworks, methods, and future research directions. This is one example. Let me show you another example from my own work. We'll come back to this. So please, you may keep your questions in the chat room. I'll address them. So this is also another one. What is the title? Cybercrime research, a review of themes, frameworks, methods, and future research directions. It doesn't mean you should use the same title or the same framing. Okay, and this also followed the same approach that the other paper used. Now, let's go back to that paper. I think that's it. Okay, so you have your introduction. What is the area about? Why are you even conducting the research at all? So you need to read the paper that I will attach to the assignment to you. Okay, you have to read through, and then there's also a literature review within the writing of that particular review that you are going to do. So you conduct the literature review, and then classification framework. How did you go about sorry, not how did you go about it, but the papers that you read, when you put them together, so when you put 5 or 6 papers or things together, what do you have over there? How do you classify that particular thing? For example, the things that we have here, the sub-themes that we have here is categorized under one broad theme called the business issues under cloud computing. Then technology issues has also its own sub-themes. Let's go to this one. Okay, so identification of collection of literature to something that you may come across. What got you to select which particular group of papers? So article categorization. What the other paper is referring to as the classification, I'm looking at it as article categorization. And so I indicated that I used 109 papers across 40 journals. Okay, so you are going to use 20 papers across how many journals? Okay, and so, but for now, the most important thing for you to do is to do your summaries, and then also come up with the table. Okay, and then we'll look at the way forward. Now, when we meet again, we are going to ask you the progress of work, what you have done so far in relation to the assignment that has been given to you, and if there are any confusion among you, we'll try and address that issue. If there's none, we'll then how to proceed. So we get to the 6th week. All right, please, let's address any question if you have. I didn't want to go further because if I should go further, people may start getting confused because we may delve deeper into other parts of the review. So let's restrict ourselves to the conducting of the article summarization and then drawing of the table. Any questions so far? Okay, so Prof mentioned that we can choose to add number 8 notes. Please, I want to know what kind of information is expected to be in the notes section. Redeemer, I'm not getting the question well. You may come again, please.
Hello, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah, so please, I'm trying to understand. Prof mentioned that we could add a note section number 8 after the conclusion. So
Okay.
I just
okay. So if I was the one
to know what is expected to be put there.
So you have read
after the gaps.
I'm trying to say that you have read the paper. Okay. There are certain things that are in the paper that are not in the structure that we are giving you, which will be very important in your writing too. For example, whilst I was doing the table, I remember that there's something called theme. Okay, I could add a theme to it. Theme on this would be paradox of romance scams, because when you read the paper carefully, there's something about paradox in the paradoxical behaviors in there. So paradox of romance scams. This may be my theme. Okay, you may find other things that may be important in your writing, but are not in the structure that we are giving you. And those are the things that will go into the notes. Is that okay, please? Redeemer.
Thank you very much. That's well noted.
Okay. Are we submitting this prior to the article we need to submit? Yeah, so you'll be doing this during the semester. And so, like I said, next week when we meet, we'll ask you randomly, how far are you done with the work that you are doing, the review that you are doing? Okay. And so it is your work to do, and it is on the 6th week, in the 6th week that you submit the work. But it is important for you to start doing it now, so that when you get to the 6th week, and please note that these articles are publishable. I've shown you 2 articles that have been published. There are several lots of them that have been published. And so if you do it very well, you can go on and publish it if you want. Okay. And so I will not say anything further. I'll come to you. Let me read this question and I'll come to you. When you are drawing the table, do you do it for each article, or you draw the table and summarize, or the table is for all articles? So when you go to the next row, the next article will fill this row, and then go to the next row to fill the next row. So it's not only for one article. You do one table for all the articles. So all 20 articles will go in one table. Emmanuel, I think that should be the answer to that. Enoch.
Okay, Doc, please, with regards to the assignment, I didn't clearly get it. Please, are we selecting a topic then under it, we review those, we do the assignment, or we can just any random paper?
No, not random paper. You are selecting a topic. I'll share let me go through the assignment clearly again, because since that's where the confusion is.
Okay, sure.
So select a contemporary research area. Example, AI and well-being, AI and public health. Okay, that is an area that you are interested in. Then conduct a systematic review of at least 20 articles or 20 peer-reviewed articles. Okay. Now, critically analyze the literature to identify at least 3 significant research gaps. And so those research gaps are going to come out from the table that you are drawing, from the summaries that you are making, you are doing. Now, the summaries you are doing for 20 articles, but then there may be 3 strong gaps that may come up. Okay, so identify those 3 significant gaps from the 20. Write a background of 500 words, just as the papers I was showing you had done. So this is one. That's the background, if you can see it from here. This is the background. Okay, this is the background of the paper. Now, beyond that, write a background and develop a detailed research problem. Based on the research problem, outline a research purpose, objective, and questions, and propose concise and descriptive research title. Discuss the dominant theoretical frameworks, which, of course, we looked at one article doing that. The methodological approaches associated with the selected area, and suggest 3 to 5 future research directions that address the identified gaps. So what we are going to do basically is to use this particular structure that we'll send to you. Just that this one is very detailed. And so you look at the areas that best apply to the assignment that we are giving you and learn from the papers that you will attach to the assignments. Is that okay from the one who has the question? Enoch.
So, Doc.
Yes, please. Okay, Doc, please, a follow-up.
Okay.
With the limit as to the years, should it still fall within the 5 years, or we can go?
Yes, please, 5 years.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
5 years, yes. Okay, there was a hand up. Okay.
Okay. So the question I want to ask is in relation to this assignment, for the 20 articles, you expect that we do the review just as you just taught us initially?
Yes, please.
For each of the 20.
Yes,
then
please.
we create the table
Yes,
to
please.
summarize it. Then
Yes.
after which we write as the question is asking.
The article.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Hey, not 500 for each article. When you consolidate the articles, when you put the articles together, it is the it's not 500 for each article, please. No. You see, you are writing on an area called cloud computing. And so what is pertaining to cloud computing, okay, within the space that you are writing or within the time that you are writing your review, what is around the topic that you are writing? So the general background around the area that you are writing. Okay, and so it's not 500 for each article, please. No, this one there. Then when will you finish? Please, any other?
Are we almost finished?
Yes, Prof, please. We are done. We are just taking questions.
Okay. So we would need to now teach them how to do the writing. But I think if you teach them right now, it will not be beneficial. They have to go and play around with the literature a little bit. And then we can help them to put them together into a write-up. So clearly let them know what they want to do so that and then in the next 2 minutes we can close so that they can go and have a break.
Okay, Prof.
Okay, then they can actually, because we are supposed to finish at 1:30, but today we didn't have a break, so they can finish at 12. Then they can spend the next 1 hour and break, and then we can go home. Daniel, you are still asking questions. Hey, what's your question? Daniel, what's your question?
I think there are two. Daniel Emmanuel, I think you are using the same computer also.
Yeah, sir, please, it's been answered. I was asking about the writer, the 10-minute writer.
Okay. So, please, for now, start with constructing the table. Sorry, start with the summaries. Once we come next week and then we look at what you have done, we'll look at where issues are for us to address, or where there are clarifications that we need to give. We'll do that, and then we'll move on through, and that's in relation to the assignments. Most of the time when students are given these assignments, they don't do it, and they wait till the last week of the submission, and they start flooding the emails with their submissions. And so please, we want to take you through this so that we can monitor what you are doing. Okay, right. And so please start with the summaries. Next week, we'll inspect the summaries. Randomly, we'll select about 10 people to look at, and then we'll move on from there. So I'll share the samples with you on your platform. Any other question, please? I think that should be it. We've addressed all the questions that we have. All right. Okay. Prof, please, we are done.
Okay. Thank you. So class, thank you very much.
Hello, Prof. A quick one. Today I was at the bookshop, but it seems that's EPP bookshop. Your books, there's none are on the shelves.
Please, my book is not in EPP bookshop. It's in Legon campus, the Legon bookshop, not EPP.
Legon bookshop. Okay. Thank you,
very much. EPP have not expressed their willingness to stock it, so we are not worried about that. So go to Legon campus.
Okay, Prof.
You're welcome. So thank you very much. I think we can call it a day.
All right, bro. Thank you so much.
So please make the assignment very clear to them. And the materials we use, share it with them. Sometimes it is advisable you create a Google Drive and place them there. I also put on Sakai for them. The reason is that they will scatter the materials on their platform. They will not even be able to track it. So create a Google Drive, make me a co-signatory. Then I can also drop things in the same Google Drive for them. Then I'll move them to Sakai too for them. Yeah. Thank you, class.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Paul.
I think Prof. Bana, Dr. Bana has done an excellent job. We should clap for him. Thank you very much. Okay.
Please, is there a way to find your office so that if you have a question, we can come to you with it?
Oh, if you are coming to the office, it's not advisable because when will you be able to know the lecturer is there? You see, the platform is better. If you have anything, just put on the platform, we'll respond. Then everybody can benefit.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. And that's a very good question too.